Mr. Fleming here again. You've probably noticed by now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, that I'm pretty amateur when it comes to this, but hopefully you're at least getting a good laugh out of it, and I hope that even maybe a little bit of information too. So I'm going to keep doing them, and you can tell me if I start to get a little bit better as I go. This time, I'm wearing my Edmonton Oilers jersey. I don't know why, other than I thought I'd just have some fun with doing this if I'm going to be in front of the camera. For this video, I want to get serious now, and I'm going to talk about some of the things you could do with the most recent learning package from the Ministry of Education. So I'm going to just spend a moment talking about each of them, and hopefully you can stay with me as I go, and maybe you can even hit pause when I'm done with one, and then watch the next clip when you get to the next part. Okay, so I'm going to start with sensational writing. Sensational writing. So in this writing activity, you're talking about the 5 senses, which are sight, that you do with your eyes, sound with your ears, taste with your tongue, smell with your nose, and touch mostly with your fingers. Okay? And to help with this, you're given a link to a book by David Ezra Stein called Honey. And the book might seem a little bit young for you, and what I mean by that is it's pretty simple. You could read it no problem. You're all onto chapter books now and everything. But the book actually does quite a good job of showing to you just what describing some of those senses might look like. And it has a few activities that come out of it. And a couple of the things that I wanted to challenge you to do, if you want to, are, first of all, you're going to see a word in there that you might not have seen before. And the word is aromatic. Aromatic. It took me a second there. I had to make sure I knew how to pronounce it. I'm not going to edit that one out. You're stuck with it. Aromatic. And so I'd like you to tell me, what does that mean? What does aromatic mean? Can you use it in your own creative sentence to show me that you know what it means? Are there a couple of words in that word that you recognize? If there are, what are they? So that's one part that you can do with it. The other thing that I thought you could do with this activity is when it gives you the example of it smelled as sweet as, meadow as gold as, stream as clear as, berries bursting like, and obviously in the book it's all honey is the correct answer. Well, I'm going to challenge you to try and come up with something else. So when it says meadow as gold as, instead of honey, what's another word you could use? Meadow as gold as what? That's up to you. See if you can do that for that part. The other thing that I thought you could do to challenge yourself is it suggests that you write 1 to 2 sentences for each of the senses when it comes to the snack that you're having to choose. Well, challenge yourself. If 1 to 2 sentences is pretty easy, you get done that in a few minutes, well, try 3 or 4. Challenge yourself to do a little bit more. Practice makes perfect, and the more practice you're doing, the better you're going to get at that skill. But then, if you're finding that you're a little bit stuck on one of them, and you're going, I can't think of anything to say for taste when it comes to the snack. Well, I don't know why that would be the hard one, but let's just say that it was. Come up with just words. Don't come up with sentences. Try a couple of words that you can use to describe it. So those are a few things that you can do to add to sensational writing. I'm going to skip by the place value raised to 1,000. I've put in a couple of suggestions on my email, so check that out. The Let's Discover experiments, I think, is a really fun one. The link to the Sesame Street, Oscar the Grouch clips and so on is maybe one that you'll get through pretty quickly, but the Scratch links are, I think, fantastic, and I encourage you to check out my email that gives some suggestions of different experiments you could do at home. Particularly, there's one from Science World in British Columbia that I think is really cool. It's building your own air cannon. The Staying Fit with Playing Cards is one that I'm telling you, I love. I've been doing it myself at home, so I'm going to encourage you to do it. I won't give you the satisfaction of showing you all the exercises that you could do on this video, but we've done lots of them in gym class throughout the year, so think back to some of those goofy warm-up activities we do with beep beep I'm a Jeep and climbing the ladder and body weight squats, push-ups, things like that, and have a lot of fun with it. Again, I'm going to refer you to my email for some ideas. And finally, the op art. Op art is short for optical art. And this one I think is a ton of fun. You can do this with pencils where you're just drawing and shading. You can do it with pens. You could do it with paint. You could do it all kinds of different ways. And on the website that the ministry gives you linked to in their document, you see a whole bunch of different cool examples. So I'd really encourage you to do that activity for this week. So once again, from the Ministry of Education, thank you very much. They've sent us at least 4 really solid English activities in addition to the French activities that are included in the document. So check it out. It's totally optional, but there's some great ways to stay sharp. I keep using that term, stay sharp, and also making sure that you're making use of the time that you have on your days off right now. So your time at home should not be time wasted. I don't want you to be bored. There's lots of different things we can do there. And finally, before I sign off, I want to hear from you. So please let me know, what have you been up to? What kinds of cool things are you doing? Are you baking? Are you riding your bike? Are you practicing the piano? What have you been doing? I would love to hear about it and see some of the examples of what you're doing. And I can't wait to have an opportunity to hear from you.